Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monster Report live here on YouTube and on Facebook. Monster Report's a show highlighting those entertaining creatures of film history. I'm your host, Nick Adam, and yes, that is my real name, and I'm so glad you're here joining us here on the Monster Report. Like, subscribe, all those great YouTube things. Get us to that 100,000 subscribers, and as my good friend Everett says, atomic blast that like button. But today, you're going to be Kong smashing that like button. That's what you're going to be doing, because we're here to talk to my special guests, and I've got some great co-host guests that I'm excited to bring in here in just a minute. But we're going to be talking a little bit of King Kong Escapes. We're going to talk to the great Linda Miller, who started that film as the female lead in that, and I'm so glad to speak with her. She's had a remarkable life and a remarkable story to tell, and I'm just so glad you're here already. We've got Bobby Reynolds in the chat. We've got Alex in the chat. Good to have you guys. And so far, so good. And again, like, subscribe, all those great things. And of course, to my fellow content creators that I'll bring in here as we speak, we've got my brother from another mother, Everett. Good to have you. And Mechanicong.
What's going on, Nick? Really, really happy to be here and excited for this live stream. This is going to be fun.
Yes, Everett, good to have you from the beautiful state of Arizona, from the beautiful state of New Jersey. We've got Kaiju Kim. Good to have you, Kim.
Good to have you here hosting this live stream. Thanks for having me.
Yes, excellent. And she is fresh from Kaiju Brooklyn, where she's got some amazing content. I've been watching your panels, saw your Shin Godzilla panel with Yoko. That was awesome to hear from him. I actually love to get him on the show sometime, talk some Shin, and we'll talk a little bit more about Kaiju Brooklyn kind of as we go. But our special guest, time to bring her in, Ms. Linda Miller.
Yay.
Hi, everybody.
We have a sound effect just for you. I think you know this, gentleman, if you can hear it. I don't know if it came across in there. Did it? Nope. I don't know if the sound effect did come across. Did it?
Just
nope,
barely.
It's barely there. Oh, goodness. I had the Kong sound effect, and I thought it would have been a cool thing to bring up, but apparently,
what a shame.
I don't know my tech enough, so Everett kind of heard it. Anyways, Mr. Kong from King Kong Escapes, and of course we have Linda Miller. Linda, how have you been doing?
I have been doing really well. And how have you guys been?
Wonderful.
good. Busy.
Excellent.
It's a beautiful day out today. The temperature is gorgeous. It's a little bit of a breeze. It's not too hot. It's not too humid. So it's my favorite kind of weather today.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And we were talking on that group chat. I was being hit by storms here in the Midwest, but we were safe. We were protected, and we're together as a family. So what else can we need? We've got a basement, we got protection, but we got the Lord looking over us, which was more important than anything else. And we'll be talking a little about that as we go along, as our relationship with Christ, as we are all believers here. But of course, Linda has met Kim actually at Kaiju Brooklyn last year, where you guys had an awesome panel. And I was refreshing on that before we got the chance to talk. And we'll talk a little about career, but what we want to really talk about, if you've joined us today, is Linda and all of us. We all have a story to tell about our journey of faith and where God has taken us as Kaiju fans, as a person who's actually been in a Kaiju film, one person here who has actually been there. And I remind people, actually, there's I've talked about this with Kim when I had her on the show not too long ago. There's only a finite amount of Kong girls in the world. There's Fay Ray, there's Naomi Watts, there's Jessica Lange. But Linda's a Kong girl. She was held in the hands of King Kong himself. Yes.
Yep.
And there she was. And so we have a Kong girl on the show. So tell me a little about, just, if you've been on this show before, if you've seen Kim's show especially, I would encourage people to go and look at that video that Kim posted of Kaiju Brooklyn last year. That was a great panel, and I know you had some great questions from the crowd at Kaiju Brooklyn. I know they showed you some love, and you got the chance to give some encouraging words, and we're here to talk about that a little too. We've got Nathaniel Plummer in the chat. Linda, you were super cute in King Kong Escape.
Well, thank you.
You're an angel, and thank you for help making a great kaiju film.
No lies detected.
What?
No lies detected.
Oh.
No lies. Actually, there's kind of a Kong girl there, Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton. Yeah.
He's a fan of the King Kong Lives, one of the more forgotten Kong films that are out there.
I don't even think I've seen that one.
Oh, it's a doozy. Yeah. 80, what was that? 84, 85, somewhere around that. Maybe 86, actually, I think it was. But
I think. Yeah,
the actual sequel, same director of the 1976 King Kong. Just a kind of a deviation from the storyline, bringing Kong back to life. But I guess when it comes to King Kong Escapes and its legacy, and actually yesterday was the anniversary, I believe it was the 59th anniversary of King Kong Escapes. And I guess just kind of as someone who's lived with it, and of course knowing the story that you told about how, for the longest time you kind of put King Kong Escapes on the back burner, kind of even saying it was part of my career, but maybe just a little footnote. And then you get the call from Brett Hominick, who kind of brought you back and said, Linda, we've been looking for you. There's a community of people that love this material, and you are a part of it. You and your fellow Carl Craig that you go to cons with, and bringing you out and getting the stories from someone who's been there and can tell us about it. So I guess just maybe briefly talk about how the legacy has been, what you've observed from the legacy from your perspective of King Kong Escapes and since its release.
Well, when I got the phone call from Brett, I was so flabbergasted because I had no idea that anybody even saw the film, to be honest with you. So when he called, of course, you're a little bit suspicious, he said, "Hi, my name's Brett and I live in Japan." And I said, "Oh, I used to live in Japan." He goes, "I know, I've been looking for you." And so that made me just a little bit nervous. Why are you looking for me? But he mentioned Natsuki Yosuke, who was an actor. He's passed since. That he was an actor at Toho. He did a lot of Mifune, and he did some Kong stuff. Some Godzilla stuff. And he and I were boyfriend girlfriend at one time. And so he mentioned Natsuki's name. And as soon as he said that, then I relaxed and I listened to what he said. And I just couldn't believe that people were still interested in the film that was so many decades ago, And I never saw it in the States. I never saw it. My cousin saw it on TV, but I never saw it on TV. I never went to the movies. So I had no idea that there was a fan base. And I was absolutely flabbergasted when he told me. It was exciting and it was perplexing at the same time. Like, really? Why? Why are they still, this is an old movie, So.
And you probably thought, it's kind of been forgotten over the course, but
yes.
Did that lead to starting to communicate and then maybe even starting to making some appearances and connecting with the fan base?
Yeah. I made Brett did a piece for G-Fan magazine, and I promised him I wouldn't do any other, interviews or, I would just keep incognito until after it came out. Well, I got it's really funny. I got an email from an agent and I ignored it because I thought, I just didn't trust, who is this person out of the blue calling me? So I didn't respond. And then I got a letter in the mail. Actually, it sat on my desk for about a month at work because he sent it to my work. Sat on my desk for about a month before I opened it up because I thought it was something else. And so when I opened it up, it was from Takarada-san. And so Takarada-san was inviting me to come to conventions with this manager who had tried to contact me. And so then I said, oh, okay. So then I called the manager, and then that's kind of how the whole thing happened. I think my very first convention was Chiller. And boy, was that was an eye opener to go to Chiller and you know, see all the people dressed up in all different kinds of costumes, you know. And I remember saying to Jim Cironella was my first agent. I remember saying to Jim, you know, I don't look like I used to when I was 19 years old. I don't know that they're going to want to see me, and I've gained weight, and you know, so I gave him all the reasons why I shouldn't go because I would be embarrassed. Anyway, so he said, don't worry. He says, none of us look like we used to when your film came out either. So you're okay. So that made me feel a little bit more relaxed, you know. So I went to the convention. Everybody was so nice. But I said to my mom, oh my God, I'm going to go to this convention. What if nobody wants my autograph? How embarrassing is that going to be? You know, but that wasn't the case. It was a successful and that just began. And what surprised me is how warm everybody was. You know, all the fans were warm. They were nice. They weren't weird. It just was a great experience, you know. So I just had a ball. I just enjoyed them loving on me, and I just turned around and loved back on them, you know, because it was a wonderful experience. And that's kind of how it's snowballed over the years. I've made a couple changes in managers, but you know, it's been going really great. I'm very happy with the progress.
All right, and I'm gonna let my co-host. I'm gonna go around the room with Everett, Godzilla Fan Freaks, and Kim, and back to me with any questions that you have. And I've said before, I have my outline, but I like to let the spirit kind of lead. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys, if you have questions, and of course, if there are questions from the chat, I'll get that in while you're thinking of your first one, Everett. We've got Walter in the chat, Jedi Granville, good to have you. And of course, long live King Kong lives. Yes, King Kong Escapes is a close second. He says he loves both. They're all great. They're all great.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a shout out, by the way, earlier on Kaiju Live for this show. So shout out to AJ, Goji Franklin, and Leslie Chambers on that. They gave us a nice little shout out who were talking about some G-Fest beforehand. Any props from the movie, Linda?
You know what? I did not take any from the movie at all, and I don't know why. I had no idea. But I have had more gifts given to me. I have them Kong. I've got Mechanic Kong. I've got all kinds of gifts that the fans have given me. But unfortunately, I didn't take any props from the film. But I did have one person send me a hat. He made the hat. You know, the Lieutenant Watson's hat. It's a little too big, but you know, and we are getting for next year, because it's the 60th, we're getting the uniform made up so that I can take pictures in the uniform with fans. Wonderful. So
I would love that.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited too. So that's in the thing. And we've got a lot of things happening, but no props from the movie, unfortunately. Oh, I have my script. Yeah. I have the first script that was like, I don't know what the term is. It's like the script before the real one. And then I have the real script where I made little notes and stuff on it. And so I have that. That's about the only thing I have.
Cherish it forever. King Kong Escapes is definitely a different kind of kaiju film.
Definitely.
But I'll add to it. We love it. You're still pretty, Linda. Enough said. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Shoma, Nick Monster Report, if you have some time, please tell us about Linda's time working on the green slime. I'm sure we're going to get to the green slime as well. So yes, we've got Parker's Imaginarium. Greetings, Linda, and hello. Greetings, Nick, and hello, Linda. So Matt, Parker, you are super awesome. Kaiju Kim.
Oh, shucks.
Send some love. Yes. When there's time, Monster Report and Linda, tell us about. Yep, we will. We will definitely talk some green slime. Why not? Yes, and lots of love towards Linda. Has anyone Toho reached out to you since the film?
Nope. Nope, nope, unfortunately. Well, Toho, LA, I was, I don't want to say friends, but I had an acquaintance who was at Toho in Los Angeles. And so I went and met with him, but none of the Japanese crew or Japanese people,
Okay. And then,
unfortunately.
yeah, Seth Strange World. Linda's beautiful. She is a sweetheart. We all know that, and that's why she is here. Everett, take it away.
Well, Linda, if I can say, it's just an honor to meet you. And,
Thank
you
you.
know, I haven't met you in person, but this is, really exciting for me. You were definitely a part of my childhood growing up. King Kong Escapes was one that I watched regularly growing up on VHS. Remember, my dad actually recorded it on TV for me. And it was just one of those, rare films. And hopefully one of these days I can get my copy signed by you. That would be really cool.
That's cool.
But if I had any questions at all, what would have been the highlight of the film for you? Like a favorite scene, or if you can recall?
I've got a couple. The one where Takarada and I are in the cold dungeon and Doctor Who is grabbing my face, and manhandling me. I like that whole thing because it was because I had never acted before. I was very self-conscious of everything I did and very self-critical. But during that segment there, it felt very natural and very easy to do. And I liked how, in fact, I've got on my wall there, I've got a black and white photo of Doctor Who and I, and in the dungeon. So I really like that scene. And then the other scene, which is very personal, Rhodes kind of coached me because he knew I didn't know anything. So he kind of coached me during this. And we were at Tokyo Tower, and he challenged me to cry. And I cried, and I was so you can't see it on film. Nobody would know but me and him that I cried. So I was so excited that I cried. So I think those were kind of the two highlights, of the film.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. And also too, Honda-san, when he directed by show and tell. He would say, do this, do that, because I didn't know what I was doing. So he would just act it out for me, and I would just copy what he did. So I really like that. And he was such a nice man. Very, very nice man.
That's wonderful. I'll pass it to you, Kim.
All right. Linda.
Yeah.
Sweet Linda. So I guess I'm going to piggyback off a question I saw in the chat from Seth Strange World. Linda, may I ask if you will be at G-Fest next year for King Kong Escapes? I was actually wondering that myself, and I was also wondering if there are any cons that you have not yet been to that you would like to go to.
I would like to go to Rhode Island. I would like to go to some out west because it seems like most of them are on the East Coast, Florida. Yeah. And then there's one in Lexington I'd like to go to. I'm very bad with names, so please, everybody, forgive me. I know locations. I don't know the names of the cons. And I'd like to do a Chiller again. I'd like to do G-Fest again. I'm not so sure that will happen, but I would like to do that.
Well, it should.
Yeah, I would love to.
I can at least talk to John Bellotti Jr., get you back to Kaiju Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That was a lot of fun. My agent told me at the time, well, this is like their second year and it's kind of small and, they're building their way up, I had so much fun at that convention, and I did well financially. I did well with the I have to tell you, you've got some of the cutest guys in New York I've ever seen.
Shout out to those New York guys. Yes.
They're only like 40 years younger than I am, but still you can look. And, but I just had so much fun. You were a great interviewer, and everything it was a great show. I really enjoyed it. I would love to come back.
I'd love to have you back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Kaiju Brooklyn for all that you guys did. It's another successful year, every
Yes.
year getting a little bit better, and
Yes.
that's just so awesome to see that. And yes, to the if anyone listening who's an organizer of G Fest, get Linda back. It's the 60th anniversary next year. It's a no-brainer, and if there was a way that I could get there, it always seems like it's at the same time my children's 4-H fair in Indiana.
Oh,
And it's within driving distance, so that's why I would love to get there. So if Linda's getting there, guys, maybe there's a way that the everything will align, that I can get there and reacquaint with Linda in person. So
that would be fantastic.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did such an amazing job in your performance for how you're downplaying how you felt about your acting performance. Everyone here believes that you sold the role perfectly. We just wish we could have heard your voice in that role.
Me too. Oh God, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awful. When the film came out and they told me that they used somebody else's voice, and I heard that cartoonish voice. That's why I didn't tell anybody it was in the film. I was embarrassed for the voice. I mean, my acting was one issue, but then the voice just compounded it, And oh man, I don't know. I don't know what Arthur was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking. Arthur Rankin.
In a different time, and in even Nick Adams, the Nick Adams of also meeting Takarada there, and we recreated a scene with Nick Adams and Takarada. The fact that you would have American actors coming over there like you did to speak English, and they would respond in Japanese, the Japanese actors, and yet as awkward as we might feel in this kind of day and age with that language barrier, you knew conversational Japanese, and
I did.
you were able to communicate and at least have that understanding of the responses, whereas maybe some of the other actors haven't. But I do want to jump off of something you said earlier. So Yosuke Natsuki was the one who made the connection with you and Brett, right? And that, and your relationship that you had with him beforehand. And anyone who's listening out there, if you remember Natsuke from my favorite Godzilla, The Return of Godzilla, or 1985, also loved Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, and he was in another kaiju film called Dogora, which a lot of people kind of forget about because it doesn't have Godzilla in it. But I'm like, yeah, but King Kong Escapes doesn't have Godzilla, but it's in our universe. It's in the universe of everything that we love. Kaiju Live, AJ, what is going on? You guys had a great show talking some G-Fest. And again, anyone listening that has the connections with G-Fest, you've got to get Linda back there next year for the 60th anniversary of King Kong Escapes. Yes. So I'm going to shift a little bit of gears and talk about, your faith journey transition and kind of where it took you. Were you maybe always a believer since you were young? And if not, where did you kind of make that decision in your life?
Oh boy, it's a long journey. I'm a little stubborn. The very first time I had any feelings at all was my parents, when I was in 4th grade, took me to see the 10 Commandments. And I came home and decided I was going to be a nun. And then in 6th grade, I discovered boys, so that went out the window, So I, being an Air Force brat, you move all the time, so you don't have any roots. So we never joined a church. I went to one vacation Bible school, and that was when we were in Texas, when I was in 4th grade. And so I had no background. And my mom's family are Jehovah's Witness, and my dad's family are Methodist. So there was nothing, So I get to Japan, and everything is like a fairy tale for me. Everything I wanted, I got. If I wanted a job, I got it. If I wanted a modeling job, I got it. If I wanted a commercial, I got it. I didn't even audition for King Kong Escape. So I led, at that moment in my life, it was like a fairy tale in a storybook. Then we come back to the United States, and that's when reality hit me. And I had a hunger for spiritual things, but I didn't know what it was. So then I became a Buddhist. And this is what I was going to tell you when you asked me, Kim, if there's something about myself that nobody knew. And I thought, oh, I forgot to tell him I used to be a Buddhist. So I became a Buddhist because they said you could chant and get anything you want. And I wanted a lot of things. So I went through that journey about 10 years of being a Buddhist. And one day, it's so funny. I've always had issues with my weight. So one day, and if I talk too much, just let me know, okay? So one day I see this sign in Pasadena, because I was living in Pasadena, and it said something about, your diet or whatever. So it was a church, so I went in, and it was a Seventh-day Adventist, and they're very big on health. And so she said to me, "Do you know Jesus?" And I said, "Yeah, I know who he is," very, very irreverently. "Yeah, I know who he is." And she says, "Well, my husband, the pastor, teaches theology at Fuller Seminary, and he would love to talk to you about Buddhism." So they approached me from the aspect of me sharing with them what I know. So he and I would get together and have little, not Bible studies, but little conversations. And I remember one day, and I'm going to cry. Ooh, okay. One day he said to me, "Have you been to Japan and seen the Buddha?" And I said, "Yeah, I've been there. We've seen his grave." And he goes, "Yeah, I've been to India and I've seen that grave." He says, "When you go to Israel, there's nobody in the grave." I'm sorry. And that was like somebody took a baseball bat and hit me over the head. It was like, boom. It just had such an impact. He said, "Yes, he's alive. He's not dead." And all the others are dead. So then he gave me a Bible and he told me to read John. And of course, I did not read John. And I'm stubborn. So I was out back, and everybody kept witnessing. Everywhere I went, people were witnessing to me, and I was getting very irritated. And I remember saying to God, "All right, if you're really real, you better show me, because I'm sick and tired of your people harassing me." I go to bed that night, and before I went to bed, I finally opened up the Bible and I read John. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God." Okay. So I read that, and a ball of fire went right through my whole body. And at that moment, I knew it was real. It just was like I woke up or something. So I go to bed, I have a dream, and in my dream, it was a horrible nightmare. I was being murdered. And it felt real. And I woke up terrified. But as soon as I got my head together, I went, I know what this is. This is a battle for my soul right now. Because in Buddhism, they believe in the supernatural. They believe in the spirit world, just like we believe as Christians, And I understood what was happening at that moment. And that was the moment I gave up Buddhism, lost all my Buddhist friends, had people tell me all kinds of bad things were going to happen to me because I was a Christian now and had given up my Buddhist thing. And it took me a while to fully commit. It took me years to fully commit. But I'll never, ever forget that feeling when that fire went right through me. And then I realized there was a battle for my soul. It just became very crystal clear. And, and I believed in reincarnation at the time. And I remember driving down San Marino Boulevard. It was a beautiful day and it was sunny and it was just gorgeous. And I was in a horrible mood. And I remember thinking, God would not be so cruel to have us live a lifetime over and over again like this. And so that's when I stopped believing in reincarnation. So it's been a long, long journey. That was in 1983 or something like that. And it's taken a long time took until Charlie Kirk's murder before I really, I've been serious at other times, but that woke me up, really deeply woke me up, and I haven't been the same since. So it's been a long journey, and it's been a lot of things happen in between, a lot of good things, a lot of tough things, but he's real, he's alive.
And what you said just it started tugging at my heart too when someone told me something that you just mentioned that reminded me of that very same thing. When someone says, all these religions, all of these faiths, aren't they all the same way to God? And then someone said, wait a second, there's one man that defeated the grave.
Yep.
Who isn't in there, like you mentioned. If you could find someone who could tell you, I will beat the grave, I will die and rise for you.
Yes.
I'll follow that man. I'll follow him anywhere.
Yeah.
And so no one has done that but our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And that's what's pulled on my heartstrings as you've been explaining that. And it doesn't matter. It can be later in life. You could have been raised like some of us, with parents that brought you to church and things, but it just like the thief on the cross. Jesus is there waiting to say, come and join me. And so I'm going to pass it over. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it took me a while to receive the fact that it was a free gift and I didn't have to earn it, and that I didn't have to clean myself up before I came to the Lord, that he loved me just as dirty as I was. And I wasn't a bad person, not like I was an axe murderer, I was like most of us, but I didn't have to present myself in a certain way. All I had to do is surrender and say, here I am.
A wonderful story to tell. And I'm going to get some chats in here while I send it over to Everett in just a second. So yeah, Kaiju Live AJ met you, and Kaiju Brooklyn says you're amazing. And shout out to all of those who got to meet Linda at Kaiju Brooklyn. I've got a lot of good friends that go there. One day, Kim, I'm going to be there. I'm going to meet you all there. Yeah. So, Leslie Chambers. Leslie Chambers. I mean, goodness gracious. Who's ever heard of the guy? But big Kong fan. Milling the love interest of King Kong is equivalent to being a Bond girl. Yes, it is that prestigious. Yes. All right. So, we've got a question from Walter. Ms. Miller, after all the filming of certain films done in Japan, did you keep in touch with certain other actors like Kathy Haran?
I've had that question asked a couple times. Is that Walter Ross?
Yes.
Hi, Walter. The answer is no. I don't even remember meeting her. That was on The Green Slime. And I didn't have but maybe 5 days work, and she had a bigger role than I did. And people have said that she remembers me and that we were friends, and I just don't remember, and unfortunately, so no, I didn't keep in touch with anybody at all from Green Slime. I did, I did through the conventions with Takarada Nakajima-san.
That's right.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got a surprise coming up for you in a few after we go around the table here. But Walter Ross, again, don't know why, but I've always felt you're a very spiritual person. Well, Walter, you could speak to Linda about this when you see her again, and I'm sure you will. Beautiful soul. Never let anyone tell you differently. Birdman 7926, good to have you here. I don't know if you liked anime.
I'm not a big fan of anime. It was in Japan when I was there. No, I wouldn't be the person to talk about anime with.
Me neither. Yeah, it's like sometimes there's crossover. Sometimes you're a kaiju fan. You might also be an anime fan. Not necessarily myself here, but we do have a question from Nathaniel Plummer. Did Dr. Tutu's teeth bother you?
No, but I know why you asked that question. He was, Amamoto-san was just a delight. He was very, very odd. As odd as he is in the film, he is kind of that he was that kind of odd in life. But he was very funny and very nice. And in between, whenever we had scenes together, in between, we would talk because, like you said, I spoke enough Japanese to, be able to hold a conversation. And we would talk, and he just was a darling human being. And he invited my mom and I, after filming, to see him in Fantasia on stage in Tokyo. So my mom and I went and we saw him, and he was great. And I mean, he was very odd looking, and his body had very skinny, knobby knees, and he was in tights, and he looked really, really odd, but he was perfect for the part. And I just really liked him as a human being. He was very sweet. Most of the men on the film were great. Hamamiye, she was very shy. I don't know if she was shy or standoffish. I know I was intimidated by her, so I never approached her. But she and I never really talked, But the men on the film were just very down to earth. In fact, is it Karube that did Ultraman?
Oh, Susume Karube, who was the alter ego of Ultraman, the human character.
Okay, well,
Hayata.
He was one of Doctor Who's henchmen, and
That's
I
right.
had a little crush on him. I thought he was so cute.
Yep, and he's
That's
been
before
in a lot.
I met Natsuki, though. That's before I met Natsuki.
Natsuki, yeah. Well, and the Karube, yeah, he's been in a lot of kaiju. He's in Destroy All Monsters, but always kind of someone kind of in the back, as like you said, a henchman, or he was one of the group on the SY3 in Destroy All Monsters. But yeah, he's a seasoned kaiju, character actor from that. But the fact that you talk about, during that time of how gentlemanly they were towards you.
That was the whole thing about Japan in itself. Before I did the film, I was modeling, and I would have shoots sometimes at 10 o'clock at night, midnight, and I'd be downtown Ginza at midnight taking the back streets to the subway. Never, ever worried about any harm coming to me at all. It was so safe. Never had any issues on the trains or the subways or the buses. It was very, very safe. And I loved that about Japan very much compared to, here, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, and you're taking us there to a different time, which is wonderful to hear those stories of that time period. It's something we've lost over the course. I've talked enough. I'm going to send it over to Everett. I'm sure you got something brewing.
Yeah. So my journey, starting off young, I wasn't introduced to God and everything until I was a little older. And I know my dad was probably going to watch the stream. I don't know if he can chime in the chat. But it wasn't until he met my godfather, Ben Astanius, and he was, a Christian and everything like that. And so I didn't start going to church until I was like a little older. And I think that worked out like better for me. It wasn't like something that was started like super young. And because that's the way my dad has always, introduced me to things is, he wants me to be old enough to kind of understand and grasp certain things. And so I remember I had some of the, kids' Bible books and stuff growing up, that made it interesting. They were kind of like a cartoon setting, but they told the stories and stuff like that. And they had verses in them. But yeah, it wasn't until I was a little bit older, and then, growing up, my dad, self-employed welder, steel fabricator, and then that's what I got into, helping him and everything like that. It was kind of a family business thing. And my godfather, Ben, we met him through a landscaping company, and it kind of just, went off from there. I remember, getting baptized and everything like that. And over the years, we went to church for a little bit. I forget how long we went to church consistently for. Again, I was still young at the time, but over time, I remember, not going to church, but I always remember, still praying at night before I would go to bed, waking up each day and just knowing that God is always there. But my relationship with him, has just kind of been that way. It hasn't been like consistent church all the time or anything like that. It's been, just kind of like a personal relationship, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And it's been nice. And God has recently came back into my life really strong, thanks to my wife. We've been together now a little over 10 years and been married for about 4. And together our journey has, grown, and we've gotten a stronger relationship with God and everything like that. We do Bible studies with our friends. We talk about God with our families and stuff like that. And we do the Bible. We have the Bible on our phones too. So we do like a Bible app where we do like daily readings and stuff like that. And then we can like discuss it in like, how, what did we get from this passage we do that about every year. So every year we consistently kind of read through the Bible every day and go through the verses and everything like that.
That's
and
awesome.
It's been a really, just strong experience. And I've had similar experiences to Linda, to where I've had some dreams that I wake up from, and it is that, realization that, this is God, and he's powerful, and he's letting me know that he's there. And it's just been a blessing, all around. And I wouldn't have done it any other way. I'm thankful for the people who are in my life. I'm thankful for having even a stronger relationship now with God than I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just been a wild, fun, faith leading journey. And I, wouldn't have it any other way. And I want to continue down this road, and I want to have even a better relationship with God than I have right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
We all do.
That's right. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
definitely it's been a very fun journey. And even going into my workplace, again, I grew up family business, welding, metal fabricating. And, once I met my now wife, Amber, and just learning more through her and everything. And then with my dad getting older, and then times change and everything like that, it really wasn't feasible for me myself to continue doing a self-employment with welding and metal fabricating, even though I love that stuff and I still know how to do it to this day. But going from a welder, metal fabricator, artist to now I work with adults with disabilities and everything like that. So I work at a day program, and being in the mental health field has been a blessing in itself, because I like to help people. And so that's what I do every day. I help people, whatever it is their needs are. I want to make sure they have a good day. And so that's what, drives me today, is just helping people and, praying every day before I go into work, and just the smiles that I'm able to bring and everything like that is just, so.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So
that's why I call Everett my brother, because he's got a big heart, and he's one that I have visited Arizona, and he and his wife, and they're just wonderful people. That's why just love to have him and you all right here, to join us here to have this conversation. And that's why I think it's just wonderful. Even in the time we're living in now, we can at least connect this way, even if we're separated by a great distance. But yeah, being able to interact with one another in person one day, hopefully we'll be able to have that again. And that's wonderful. But yeah, our family helps us get through things. And that's why I think people with a big heart, it really comes out in how you conduct yourself in life. And then they find out that there's something you're rooted in. And that's also wonderful too. And why I've reconnected again with Kim, because Kim also has shared kind of how she wants her production company to be an honor to God as well. So I'm going to pass it over to Kim, and you can take it from there.
All right. I guess we're all sharing our testimonies, I guess. Well, like you mentioned, I did share my testimony on my second channel for my production company, Nuclear Lizard Media. You can kind of guess where I got the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a nutshell, I've been a Christian my entire life, but I wasn't always as close to God as I am now. I went to church when I was younger, and then I eventually stopped going when I was like 17 or 18. And then I just kind of did my own thing for a while. I was really depressed, and I was like just not always fun to be around. It's kind of but I was also just listening to like secular music, and just not like God was still in the back of my mind, but like I wasn't really centering my life around Jesus. But fast forward to Easter of 2014, my sister invited in our family to the church that we go to now, and every single time I've gone to that church, every single sermon, it's like it spoke to me in some way. And it's been well over a decade now, and I am so much closer to God than I have ever been. And I continue to grow deeper with him every single day. And that's why I recently relaunched my business to be centered around Jesus. So, just glorifying God in everything I do. And I want that to be what I do with my other channel too, my Kaiju Kim channel. I think I'm gonna start if and when I do bring back Chill with Kaiju Kim, I might bring some biblical wisdom into that. I'm not gonna shove anything down anyone's throat, because that's not how I roll. Like, we're quite literally not supposed to do that. Which is why it's so sad that so many people that call themselves Christians do that, and that this has the opposite effect of what we're trying to do. But we just gotta let people know, like, just be like, hey, there's this guy who took the blame for every single bad thing that you have ever done and died on your behalf. So how amazing is that?
That's mind-blowing, actually, when you think about it.
It's wonderful to hear that too. And how you've relaunched too, Kim, with that. And we shouldn't keep our faith a secret, put it away in the corner of the room or anything. I think it's important to share it and encourage one another in it, and those who aren't believers to hear that message and to maybe be brought closer in that sort of way. So we'll get some comments back in here. This is wonderful to have this conversation that we have in the chat. And so I'm just glad that everyone's here to kind of share in this experience. It puts the God in Godzilla. God first. Yes. And Birdman's asking if Linda, if you had the chance to return to a Kaiju film, she hasn't been in a Godzilla film, but I don't think she would turn it down. Would you want to be in a live action? Live action or animated. So perhaps even a voice role in an animated Godzilla. I would love to see you in an animated or anime style with that iconic 60s outfit, which is being reconstructed, you said.
Yes, that'll be next year's conventions. I'll be wearing that. Of course, the obvious answer is yes, 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 and yes to all those. Yeah, definitely would love to. But, what am I trying to say? Even if not, it doesn't matter, because what I've experienced already, what I've had the opportunity and God's grace has been so fantastic that even if it never materializes again, that I did anything else, I still would be so happy with what the Lord has given me, because I didn't realize how, I don't want to say lucky, blessed, how phenomenal it was, all of those words, at the time that I was going through it, at the time I was making the film, at the time I was being with Honda-san and Takarada, Nakajima, and Rhodes and Hamamiya and Amamoto and all these people, I never had any idea the magnitude of what was going on, how it was impacting my life. And only now, as I'm old, I look back and I can see, wow, that was really a phenomenal time in my life. And I'm just so grateful, I guess is the word, that I had that experience. So even if I never went to another convention, even if I never did another film, even if I never did another voiceover, I would want to, but I still would be satisfied and happy and thankful for what I have had, I just want to bring one thing up about Buddhism. I think this is kind of important. At the time, I was going through a really bad time in my life. And we used to, there was a scroll that we would chant to, and we would say, this scroll represents the highest form of your life. And I remember one night chanting, thinking, my life is a bloody mess. I've got this going on and that going on. And I was, I just came out of divorce. I was on the brink of foreclosure. I was doing things I shouldn't be doing, and my life was a mess. And I thought, if this piece of paper represents my highest life force, I am in real trouble. I am in real trouble. And that's what got me also thinking about, what is truth? Where is truth? And it was at those moments questioning, Jesus versus Buddhism. And it just became so clear that a piece of paper with some words written on it is nothing compared to, Jesus and what he did for us. And so I wanted to bring that up because that was that helped me make the hump as well. So anyway.
Awesome. It looks like we lost Nick, but hopefully he's going to be able to.
Yeah. I believe Nick is having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, no, he lives out in the boonies out there in Indiana.
Yes, right. Just to answer Nathaniel Plummer's question, what are those degrees behind you? Oh, yes. I have an associate's degree in broadcasting and a bachelor's degree in film and television.
Woohoo! That's why you're so good. Oh, I love watching your videos.
Oh, thank you.
I go, how does she do that? How does she know how to do all that stuff? It's really quite fabulous.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah, YouTube tutorials in college.
Well, you learned well, my dear. You learned well.
Thank you. Thank
you. All right. I can't see the chat on my end just because I don't have a laptop currently right now. So
okay, so let's see. Nick is having internet issues. Keep going. He is diagnosing it. Alrighty. So I guess we'll just wing it. Let's see.
I'm trying to think if I have any other questions. Well, I know, Linda, you brought up that you're hoping, if there's West Coast, cons or things that pop up. I don't think Nick's mentioned, but I am the owner and creator of the Tucson Kaiju Festival. Oh. And I started it back in 2019, and Nick's back. Oh. There he is. And it was a really cool, fun event. I did it completely kind of free for everyone. I didn't charge any vendors, any spaces for tables or anything.
Wow.
But after our live stream here, I'll be sure to link the 2 times that I have been able to do the Tucson Kaiju Festival in our chat. Okay. And that way you can check it out and stuff like that. The first year I did it, didn't have a necessarily great video to put together with it, but it was still, you still are able to capture everything that we were doing. And it was a lot of fun. And I want to say the first time I did it, I think it had to have been 500, if not over 500 people. And it was just an evening. It was only 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. And it was just constant throughout the whole time. And then the second time I was able to bring it back together was in 2023. And I held that at a local store, kind of gave me their venue. Bookman's is their name. And we did it there. And we had an awesome event there. Nick was able to come down from Indiana. I had some other kaiju friends come in. We did it bigger and better that year. Like instead of like an evening, it was a whole day thing. And so we had vendors, we had panels that we were all doing together, and it was just a great fun time. And after I did the second one, I actually got a message from Don Fry's manager, because Don Fry only lives not too far away from me in Sierra Vista, Arizona, and he got downwind of it and was interested in it. So it was like, that was really cool. So it's like, I've been wanting to push it and get it back together and going, because having Linda Miller and Don Fry headlining a Tucson Kaiju Festival would definitely be awesome and amazing, and I would love that.
Fly me out there right now. I would still go to that.
We did G-Fest together in 23, whenever I did the last G-Fest.
Okay.
Him and TJ Storm.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was TJ.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's definitely in the cards. My biggest issue now is finding a venue. Once I can get a venue secured, everything else is downhill for me. But right now it's hard to find a venue that I can secure for less than $1,000 just for one day. And it's just being me and not having any of those outside resources. That's why it's been hard for me to keep the Tucson Kaiju Festival consistent. I would love to have it every year. It's just not easy.
I know. I see what the promoters go. Well, I don't really see what they go through. I just see, the outskirts of what they go through. And I go, oh, that's a lot of work they put in there, and a lot of their heart and a lot of their money too.
Yeah.
So I think for those of us that come as guests, we really need to make sure that we do everything we can by promoting on our end, and by being good to the fans, and do everything that we can to make a success for everybody. So good luck, and I would love to come out one time.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would love it. And like that's just who I am at the end of the day too, is every time I've done it, I've been able to make it just a free event. I don't charge for tickets. It's just come in and have fun, because that's what I enjoy doing. We all love this same world of giant kaiju men in suits, tokusatsu. And it's just like, let's just have a fun event together and just enjoy it together. Yeah. And so I want to be able to keep doing that. That's for sure. But just wanted to throw that out there, since you mentioned wanting to come out to the West Coast and everything. So that would be a dream. And if anything, this gave me more, of that push to like, all right, I got to do this now.
Well, you know what they say, God's will, God's bill.
Yes. Yeah.
We lost Nick again.
He keeps flipping in and out of digital existence.
Oh, no. All right. Well, I guess we can move on to another question down here. Have you met any other con girls, Linda?
No, unfortunately. I mean, I have this fantasy of all of us con girls getting together, and I know there's some of them that would not want to do that, but I think that would be just a fantastic thing. I remember reading Naomi Watts was talking about David on, okay. The memory of the righteous is blessed. David, he did the movie Blue. Anyway, he said to Naomi when she got offered the part in Kong, she said, David, should I take us? And he said, Naomi, every woman that's been in the hand of Kong is a star. And that's why she did the film. And I read that and I went, oh, that applies to me too, Oh, what's his last name? David. Anyway, he's passed away, but he's David Lynch. He told Naomi Watts that. And when I read that, I went, I'm going to claim that for me as well.
Yes, you are a star.
I'm a star.
You are a fabulous one.
So you're back. Can you hear us, Nick?
You good, sir?
I can I switched over to cellular data, so I hope I'm coming through.
Yeah.
You are coming through. It might be a touch laggy, but you're here.
Am I?
Yeah.
I don't know if I am or not. Okay.
I just heard my cat at the door. I got the door shut.
Kitty.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys keeping things going, and hopefully. Goodness, what is going on with this? I am so sorry.
Technology.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to try going audio for a while and seeing if that helps. I actually switched over to cellular. I am going to play a short video and give us a little break here to kind of show a time at G-Fest where I did actually get to meet Linda very briefly. I didn't have a whole lot of time to meet Takarada-san, and I know you were there with him that year, and so did my 5 or 6 year old little daughter who got to meet Takarada, who was just a wonderful, amazing person. So here we go. That's awesome.
Well, that was cool.
That was great, Nick.
Yeah.
And I can't tell if we lost Kim or not.
Should be right back.
Oh, okay.
Should be right back. Yeah, that was so cool. And he kissed your daughter's hand at the end.
Yes.
And then
she remembers that. She is
for the two. Did she?
Yes, she's 14 now, and she would be joining us if she wasn't going to church camp early in the morning tomorrow. But Deborah, yeah, she is still a Kaiju fan, and I would have had her on here, but she had to go to bed a little early because of church camp tomorrow. We have the homeschool special here at the Poling household.
Oh, cool.
Nick Adam Poling. Yes, my last name is not Adam, like Nick Adams, but we did get to recreate the Nick Adams, Kira Takarada scene there, which was so much fun. I did tell him, my middle name is Adam, so I was destined to be a Kaiju fan. So I have to capitalize upon that. But yeah, you were there that year. That was 2016.
2016, yeah. That was the fourth convention I had ever done. I did in 2015. I did Chiller. Then we went to Japan. And that's where I got, I have to tell you a little story. I was in love with Natsuki Yosuke, and he was like the love of my life. And I never forgot him. And I had a secret desire that I never told anybody. I never prayed about it. I never told the Lord. I told not a soul. But I wanted so bad to see him one more time before either he or I passed away, because we're getting old, and it was a desire that I had in my heart. And when this whole thing came up again with King Kong Escapes, and I was invited to come to Japan in January 2016, I got to see Natsuki one more time before we died. And that was such a God blessing, because nobody knew. It was, I was even afraid to even think it out loud because it was so impossible. And when I got there and I got to see him again, we got to talk and went out to dinner. We went over old times and everything. I came back to my hotel room and just sobbed because I couldn't believe how sweet the Lord was. Here I go to give that to me, and he died 2 years later. So it was just such a blessing.
Yeah, I think he was going to come to a G-Fest one of the years, and I know he couldn't because he was ill. And I don't know if they were able to arrange that year for a conference call with him or not. But I believe that was kind of that was one of those, guests that I was hopefully wanting to meet because I was a big fan of 85. Of course, that was my first Godzilla film. So yeah, I was hoping to meet him. But it's wonderful to hear that you did get to reconnect with him one more time. And and same thing with, we've lost a lot of the actors from the Showa era. And that's, like Kira Takarada, a beloved, man, sweet person that, was, I think it was around 2020 he passed. And, we had lost, I was at the last convention for Mr. Nakajima and in Indianapolis, and was blessed to have met him. He was very sick during that time too. But yeah, the legacy and the stories that can still be told with the video footage, with the interviews that we've had. And that's why I really wanted to speak with you, Linda, because I know that you have been there, you've met some of these individuals, you've been part of this, the amazing work that has given birth to the fandom that we are in. And that's just a part of the story. You as an individual and the story that you tell of your journey of faith is, again, why I wanted to bring this up and speak to you, because again, it's like we all go through that journey of faith and where life has taken us, the good and the bad, the ugly, the everything that has led us to where we are now, and God pulling on your heartstrings and leading us ultimately to Christ. And one day when we're embracing him again, no more hurt, no more like what I deal with my back pains and my joint pains, because I'm getting older and I'm dealing with this rheumatoid arthritis and this lupus that I'm dealing with. And I just always look at it like, you know what? In heaven, I won't have any of that pain anymore. I won't have any of that. Yeah, it's just every day in paradise. Wonderful.
And wait till you get even older.
Oh my. Oh, I'm sorry that we've had so much internet issues here, but I'm glad I have these great co-hosts to carry things for me. So I don't know where we've left off with the topics at hand, but yeah, I appreciate you guys watching my little video here. If there is another topic either one of you guest co-hosts want to bring up, or Linda yourself.
Well, I would like to address Enshoma's question. He's been waiting so patiently to hear Linda's experience about the green slime. Linda, would you care to share?
I was just thinking about that. Okay. The way that whole thing happened is I had wrapped on the filming of King Kong Escapes, and I lived the housing area that I lived in Tokyo, the military housing, was probably a couple miles from Toei, or is it Daiei? Toei Studios. And I don't know why a girlfriend of mine said, hey, they're filming over there and some Americans are there. Let's go take a look. So we just got in the car and jaunted on over to Toei Studios and got on the set. And we're sitting there watching them film the green slime, watching all those little green animals with their tentacles that go like this, and we're going, oh my God, it looks so weird. So we're just standing there watching, and some Japanese guy, I don't know if it was the director, producer, I don't know who he was. He said, girls, would you like to be in my movie or in the movie? And of course I'm always up for an adventure. And I said, sure. So we wound up in the movie, and that's how we got the job. We're just sitting there watching them film, and somebody came up and thought it was a good idea to have some more American women in his film, and that's how we got the job. And then Richard Jackal and Robert Horton and Luciana Paluzzi, those were the main stars, and Richard Jackal was very, very funny. He intermingled with all the extras and all the, the second string actors. And he was funny, and he was, just very personable. But Robert Horton and Luciana, they kept their distance. So we really had no interaction with them at all. But Richard Jackal or Jekyll, whatever his name is, he was very funny, and he's very, he was just one of the guys, and he's very short. So he fit right in all the rest of the Japanese actors. He wasn't like, real tall, like Rhodes was tall, but so was Takarada was tall for a Japanese guy. So, so that's how I got the job. And I did a couple scenes where I always seem to scream. And in King Kong Escapes, any scene that has screaming in it is my voice, my real voice. Same with the green slime. Any scene that has screaming in it is my voice. So that's my claim to fame in those two movies is, and it's me screaming, in there. So I did a couple scenes, and then we did the scene with the dancing scene, and it wasn't that much work, but and I guess that's where I met Kathy Horan, if I'm saying her name right, and a bunch of other people. I just don't have a good memory of it, because it was 60 years ago, and it wasn't, just a couple days worth of work. So,
yes, thank you for sharing that too, and Kim, thank you for bringing up Enshoma's comment there. Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. So yeah, he appreciates that too. So
you're welcome.
Yeah, the films that you have the legacy of King Kong Escapes being the big one, of course, but yeah, the green slime being part of that too. It's one I personally need to see. I haven't actually had the chance to see. One day I will see it.
It's entertaining. It's entertaining. The first time I ever saw the green slime was in 2022, I think. I was at Godzilla Fest in San Francisco, and Bob does a little bit different. He rents a theater, and he had 4 films. He had The Green Slime, King Kong Escapes, Godzilla 54, and I forget the other movie. Well, I had never seen The Green Slime, and I had never seen Godzilla 54. So I'm out front supposed to be signing autographs, and he goes, Linda, the green slime's on. So he ushered me in, and I sat and I watched it. And then we did a Q&A afterwards, and I had never seen it before. And it just, going 50 years in the future, seeing what it was like back then, it's comical in some way, especially the little green men with their tentacles like that. And then I had never seen Godzilla 54, the original. And so I got to see Takarada-san when he looked like a little boy. He was so young, and that was more of a serious movie because of the political and historical undertones, And so I got to actually see it then, and I enjoyed it. And I remember them asking me, have you ever seen Godzilla? And I was like, I was afraid to answer because I think I was a heretic or something, for never having seen it and then going to all these conventions. I said, no, I've never seen it. So they made sure I saw it. And I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that more than I did the green slime. But the music in the green slime, that's the thing. The theme song is just really, really good in green slime. Right, Kim?
Yes.
Now I have to see it. And I also mentioned you had talked about in Kim's panel about Arthur Rankin and bringing you to the role of King Kong Escapes. And I think a lot of people may associate Rankin with like the Christmas holiday specials.
Right.
But for the Kaiju fans, it's between the King Kong property and the Last Dinosaur, which shout out to Seismic Toys, Chris Olio, who was at Kaiju Brooklyn, who's usually attending Kaiju Brooklyn, has a license to the Last Dinosaur figure, and also a Rankin Bass property. But I think that's wonderful to see, and the fact that when you go into a film like King Kong Escapes, and you were brought in, it being not just a role that's a film that's, you walk into a room and you do some talking, but you've got some visual effects shots to be in, part of, and working with Subaraya's crew. And I don't know how much you have shared about, some of the special effects work that you had to endure, let's say, to go through and make that make the effect sell.
Well, it was back then. It was a blue screen, or what? If it's either blue or green, whatever they don't use now. It was the opposite. And I was trying to think, how are they going to do this? I'm this size and Kong is this size. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. So the first time we're on the set, on soundstage, and there's big, huge hand, mechanical hand just sticking out. They said, okay, sit on it. And then they lifted me up. And then they explained to me that they were going to, with special effects, put in all the parts that I couldn't see. And so that was challenging to try and, first of all, when you're not an actress, try to act to nothingness, And that's where Rhodes helped me. He said, you have to remember, he said, you have to use your imagination. And he said, I had to kiss this one girl, and she had really bad breath, this one actress, but I had to kiss her in the scene, and I didn't really want to. So I imagined her lips were like a rose petal, and I was kissing the rose petal. He says, that's what you have to do. You have to imagine in your mind, see it in your mind, and then act. And that was so helpful, And there were quite a few scenes where I had to do that, act as if something was there that actually wasn't there. And the seat that I was sitting on was very uncomfortable because it was made out of metal and just covered with, fur, not real fur, but faux fur. and it was hard and it was uncomfortable, but and then you want to sit a certain way, you want to be ladylike, and so it was challenging, but actually I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
And what I was going to ask with that, in some of the shots where it was you reacting to literally nothing being there, but it's going to cut together, where did they use different objects in the air, tennis balls or something on a pole for eye lines, and say you're going to be looking, but it's going to be about this altitude or this angle?
Then she said, "Go look up there."
That's
Okay.
simple.
That was my direction. Look
What
up
am I
there.
looking at though?
There or there or there.
Trust me, it's up there, right?
Yeah.
Jesus? No, okay.
So that was my direction. Look up there.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it wasn't very sophisticated. Now, when I was in the scene where Gorosaurus and Kong have their fight in kind of towards when we get on Mondo Island, and Kong lifts me up and puts me in the tree, that was all special effects, and that was with a Honda-san saying, "Now do this," and we'll go, "Ah, be afraid," you know. He would do all those gestures to show me how to do it, and that was what I would do. I would just follow his lead. But yeah, there wasn't a whole. We didn't spend a lot of time shooting and reshooting. It was like once or twice. Okay, we got it. Let's move on. You know, it wasn't that sophisticated.
Question from the chat. Besides Escapes, do you have a favorite Kong movie?
I liked the one Godzilla versus King Kong, where they are like at the very end, kind of a draw. Neither one is killing the other.
Oh, King
Yes.
Kong versus Godzilla from
Yeah.
1962. Yeah.
No, the recent
Oh.
one, the one.
Oh, from 2021.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
21.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
Shin Godzilla too, and I like that, but I like the other one better because you know, in so many of them, poor Kong gets his butt beat, you know, and in this one, it was kind of a draw. And I went, yay!
Yeah.
They're kind of like buds in an odd way. So I like that.
And I
Like
was
they
going to
tolerate
say,
each other.
Yes.
yeah, and I was going to say with the alternate kaiju that are out there, there's always the conversations in the fandom of your favorite kaiju, not Godzilla. So obviously Gorosaurus being in this one, and not many other kaiju other than maybe the snake creature that was in the sea, the unnamed snake creature. I don't suppose they happen to have a name for it behind
I
the
think it was
scenes.
just called the sea snake.
Yeah, that it didn't actually have a official title. It's kind of like in Godzilla versus the Sea Monster or Everett that we have the giant condor. Then that's what his name is. It's just the condor. But yeah, as far as other kaiju that are non-Godzilla, if you ever followed those, I know you talked a little about that. You were a fan of the Universal Monsters series, the Dracula, the Frankenstein. So
That was my genre. I would come home from school and there would be the werewolf or Frankenstein or the vampire movie, you know, all of those. And so it was either that or American Bandstand. I remember coming home from school. Those were my two things. And I just loved the black and white ones because they were so scary, you know.
Were you a fan of the Gill Man, creature from the Black Lagoon?
Yes. Oh, and do you know when I did Monster Palooza in 2016 in Pasadena, and I walked in and there was the actress from the Black Lagoon, the original actress, I can't remember her name.
Oh, yes, from the original Creature from the Black Lagoon. She actually only passed away very recently.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I will think of it here in a moment.
Yeah, me too. And I walked in and I just went, oh my gosh, you know, I was like in awe because I used to watch her.
Julie Adams. Yes.
Julie Adams, yes.
Jim and I got it at the same time. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Creature's one of my favorites of the non-Godzilla, which I'm sure if you watch it again, you'll hear the music of the Creature from the Black Lagoon in the American release of King Kong versus Godzilla in 1962. Because Universal reused the music from the creature in that. So it's a little jarring at times when you're actually watching King Kong versus Godzilla and you actually hear the Gill Man's theme come out of nowhere.
That was the first Godzilla movie I ever watched, and I had seen The Creature from the Black Lagoon, or actually, I actually saw Revenge of the Creature first, oddly enough. But yeah, I heard that music and King Kong versus Godzilla. I'm like, what? Why are they playing the Gill Man's music?
Yeah. The classics are the best though. When they were very creative with the special effects and how they were able to put these things together, and even Linda, who was on the set, is like, how are they going to pull this off? And they did.
Oh, and also too, I actually, and I've told this story before, but I think it bears repeating. One day I was in between scenes and I was kind of walking around. I wound up on one of the soundstage, and that's where they had all the miniature villages, and they had it like on platforms, like on pilings kind of, and all these little teeny trees and little teeny cars and all these little teeny, miniature things. And if you got down and kind of squinted your eyes, it looked really real. And I watched them shoot the scene in the film where Kong, they've taken, the helicopters have taken the bombs, the gas bombs, and he's out, and then they grab him and they lift him in the air and they take him off to the boat, to the ship. I watched them film that, and it was fascinating because this sound stage was huge and it was full of miniatures. I mean, and so realistic looking. It was really quite something to watch that. I was glad I had that experience.
You're taking us there. I wish we could just be like you, a fly on the wall, to have seen that, to have experienced it, to even take in the smells, the feel of the air. I mean, just everything that was going on in that. And they're going to put this together, and it's all going to make sense on the big screen, which is so cool to see.
Which made no sense to me, but
and I'll bring in some chat here. Questions. Birdman is curious if you had any about the Alien franchise or Predator. I don't know. You're not a horror fan, but either the Aliens or Predators.
Are you talking about the movie Alien?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my testimony. I walked into the theater, sat down. When that guy came out of his belly, I got up and left. It freaked me out. So it grossed me out. I got up and I left. I could not deal. I don't like gore. I don't like blood and guts and people getting slashed. Oh, my second convention, I sat next to a filmmaker, and he did slasher films, and he had it on his little what do you call these things? Computer. Yep. And all day long he played the dialogue and all the audio from girls screaming and getting gored to death. It was my least favorite convention, and I won't tell you. In fact, it's not even in operation anymore. But yeah, I don't like gore. I don't like blood and all that. I like suspense. I like, to be scared, and I love detective stuff. Yeah.
And that's so funny that you mentioned that. It's like, there's the classic giant monsters, not much when it comes to the goriness of it. We're very much like, these are films that I can show my kids. But then I bring up the Gamera films of the Showa era, and you've seen at least Gamera versus Virus, I know, because of our good friend Carl Craig in that. But some of the Gamera films were not for the American children audience, but apparently in Japan they must have the wherewithal to take some of the slicing and dicing of some of the kaiju going on at times, and you're just like, wow.
Look at the samurai movies. They sliced and diced,
True.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
In their genes.
Leslie
What's
Chambers.
funny is Carl is 10 years younger than I am, and we lived on the same Air Force base, the same housing area at the same time. But because he was 10 years younger than I am, we wouldn't travel in the same circles. But it's so interesting how our lives have, paralleled each other in some ways. And so every time we go to a convention together, usually what I do is I live in the Richmond area and he lives in Alexandria. So it's about a 2-hour drive to his house. I'll drive to his house and stay with his family overnight. And then the next day he and I drive to Jersey or PA or wherever. And every trip, he's got all these different stories. He is a great storyteller. And it's amazing how our lives paralleled each other at the same time. And we had no idea that, we were both there at the same time, both making movies, kaiju movies, So,
So amazing.
yeah.
That is so cool. If either Everett or Kim have anything that you wanted, I was going to give Linda the chance, and I'm going to bring up the Facebook group of maybe some upcoming events that you have listed on there. But I want to give either Everett or Kim either the chance if you want to get in a discussion point or question.
Oh, I'm good.
You sure you haven't said anything in a while?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just taking it all in. I mean, it's wonderful to hear all these stories and everything.
It sure
So,
is.
we have a couple of things coming up there. Our good friend Carl Craig. So we've got a Main Street Comic Con in September. So
Yes.
Waynesboro, PA. And this is one, if it's possible, that's not too bad of a drive for me. I may just have to catch up with you and Carl at this
only
con.
$5.
If I can make it. Yeah.
That would be fantastic. I believe I'm not 1,000%. Oh, there's my mama.
Yes.
I believe that is the film that Carl and I did together. We had a small part called Devious Intent. And in the film, I play the wife of a mob boss, and he's cheated on me. And so I put a hit out on him. And Carl is my bodyguard. I know, isn't that awful? But then I come to my senses and I withdraw the hit, and I just leave town. So I think that's what that premiere is for. And then
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So we've got another one. I'm not sure where this one is taking place. Oh, it's Monster Expo. Yeah.
That's in New Hampshire, and that's July 11th and 12th, or 12th and 11th and 12th.
Same weekend as G Fest.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That's
That's
right.
why. Your
Oh,
kitty.
there's two of my kitties. There's the two male boys.
Aw.
The light colored is Smokey. I don't know why he's called Smokey. And the tuxedo is Bobby because he has no tail. Bobby has no
Aw.
tail.
Oh, Bobby.
Oh,
Kitty. I want a
we're
kitty.
big fans of cats here too. There's Mom.
No, unfortunately, that's me on a bad day.
Oh.
There's Mom.
Yeah. There's Mom.
She's a trip. That's with the green slime figure.
Oh,
Yes.
In her hand. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Oh, she's so funny. And that's with
Michael
Michael
Berryman.
Berryman. And I did, that was in San Antonio this year. And we did, where were we? We were in Pennsylvania somewhere. I forget. And then the next weekend, we wound up sitting next to each other again in San Antonio. Nice
Very
guy.
cool.
Yeah, very cool guy. And when I was in San Antonio, I hurt my ankle. Oh, listen to this. And I had asked my friend to come with me to the convention, not knowing I was going to need somebody because I couldn't walk. So he would come to my room. He'd put me in like a chair, like an office chair on wheels. I would sit and he would wheel me down the hall into the convention and sit me at my spot because I couldn't walk on my foot. And that was at that convention. That was so funny.
The memories you make.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the one in San Antonio.
Okay. Yeah. And I was going to say, then we're probably going into further back. So at least coming up. Go ahead.
Yeah. I can't remember. Where was I in Pennsylvania? Not Mechanicsville. Oh, Gettysburg. Duh. I was in Gettysburg in March.
Okay. And I was going to say, so we have at least the New Hampshire one coming up and the PA one.
The one in York, Pennsylvania, right the weekend after. That'd be the weekend of the 18th.
Okay. So anything not listed here that
yes, that is definite. There's one is it October or All right, let me just check real quick here,
No
if
problem.
you don't mind.
Yeah, I just want to make sure if anyone's out there who would like to meet you in person and actually get an autograph, get a picture, that would be so amazing. And
I try to a couple of weeks before a convention post something so people know. We'll be in Durham, North Carolina. I think it's in October or. Okay, I'll have to get back at you. I
that's
don't
okay.
have the date handy right
Biggest
now.
thing.
Yeah, but
follow
this has been a busy year.
Yeah, I was going to say, everyone out there who wants to follow Linda Miller, King Kong Escapes, and you'll see the cons that are coming up for her. And of course, I think you're also on Instagram.
Yes, I'm not very good on Instagram. I haven't figured that out yet, but I try.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say something. I forgot. Oh, if somebody has a convention they'd like to see me at that I'm not at, we always tell everybody, let the promoter know you'd like to see me, because they're going to book people that will draw people in. So if you would like to see me, just put a word in their ear, and that might make it happen.
Well, I gotta talk to people at Chiller so I can get you back here so I can give you a hug.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I know this Tucson Kaiju Festival guy, if he can get that back up off the ground.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely want to. That's for sure.
Get the West Coast represented with the great Linda Miller.
Yeah, I've been to a couple on the West Coast, but it's been a while. It's been since next year in May, a year from now, or a little over, not quite a year from now, I'm going to be in Boise, Idaho at Gem City Con or Gem State Con, and I've been wanting to go to that one for a while, and I finally got an invite, so I'm happy about that. I wanted to. Well, anyway, when you look at my Facebook photos, sometimes you'll see a big banner, stand-up banner. I want to give a shout out to Anthony Taylor. He did Monster something in Atlanta, and he made that for me. And because I have a banner that goes this way, but sometimes when you go to a convention, you don't have a wall, so you have nowhere to put your banner. So he made me one that would stand up so that I would have whatever I need. So I wanted to thank him for that. He did a really good job.
Shout out to him for creating
Yes.
that banner for you. Yeah,
Yes.
That is awesome. Being able to go and show up, and I'm sure the accommodations that they put you in, and you're also around some of the other people doing autographs. I remember Nakajima at Days of the Dead, which was his last convention before he passed away in Indianapolis. They had a lot of horror film. The girl from The Exorcist, and some of the Jason Voorhees, characters. Linda Blair, I think, from The Exorcist, and nothing against them, but obviously I was there to see, Mr. Nakajima, and I'll tell you this much: he had the line out the door. I mean,
always.
Yeah, the Godzilla fans, we come in packs.
If you wanted a lesson in humility, sit next to him at a convention. He would have a line out the door, and you'd be sitting there twiddling your thumbs, And that's not an exaggeration. They loved him. All the fans loved him, and like I said, he loved the girls in a very nice way. But he loved the young girls. He always loved to hug them and get a picture hugging the young girls.
And I was going to ask, when you started coming back to the conventions, was that your chance to reacquaint yourself with Takarada-san?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It had been a long time.
Yeah. In 2016, in January, when we went to Japan, it was set up that Nakajima, Takarada, and I did a convention together. We did a couple of conventions, and they're different in Japan than they are here in the States. But we did a couple together, and the very last thing we did was like a private party that they had paid in advance or something like that, and we had dinner, and and signed autographs and just talked to the people. And Natsuki was there too for that. So that one was Natsuki, Takarada, and myself. And then I've got some photos of Nakajima-san and Takarada and myself from the one convention we did in Japan. And then after that, he came over and we did Monster Palooza together. And then we were supposed to do another one, and I think he felt ill. I was supposed to have done G-Fest 2019 when that was Takarada's last one, and there was a mix-up and some misunderstanding, and so that did not happen, and I was very disappointed because I knew he wasn't doing well, and I wanted to one more time do a convention with him. And it didn't happen, but that's at least a couple did, you know.
Yeah. Well, I guess what was that like when you did reacquaint with him in 2016, like you said? At that point, had you kind of remembered the conversational Japanese, and or has that kind of been lost over the course?
Yeah, you know what they say: if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Well, I lost it. In fact, I regress for a second. I was telling Natsuki what floor to meet me on at the hotel, and I kept giving him the wrong number. And finally, they said, "English, please, English, please." You know, I went, "Oh God, that's embarrassing." You know, but no, my Japanese was not that great. You know, it's not that great. And I mean, I remember some things, but there's so much that I lost because when I was living there, I was working there. I was hearing it constantly. So, and I even started to have dreams in Japanese. So it became a part of my life. But then when you leave it, and then you've got that 50, 60-year gap, it's very hard to. Well, see, my grandparents were from Slovakia. So their first language is not English. And my mom grew up not being her first language. And so, but now she doesn't remember hardly any of it because everybody's died out that spoke it and she's not around it. So if you don't use it, you do lose it, you know?
Yeah. And I was going to say, with reacquainting with him, I'm sure you could share some stories through translators of reacquainting and memories of King Kong Escapes. And because you had kind of, drifted away from, you know, the movies and all of that. So I just wondered what that experience was like.
We didn't talk that much about the past. We talked more about what was he doing now and what was I doing. And then, you know, you have just short periods where you can talk because the fans are coming up. And then he was in his 80s then. And so he would like take a nap in the afternoon, late afternoon sometimes. So we didn't really reminisce that much about old times. It was more about what's going on now and what have you been doing? And, you know, showing me pictures of his family. And at the time we were working together, he was married to Miss Universe. And I don't think that was his wife at the time I met him, you know, in Chicago. But yeah, it just, you know, it was like, that's just so long ago.
But we have the film, and I always wondered going forward from that film if Shiro, you know, and your character was, you know, ended up together. I always wondered if there was a future there.
Everybody says that. And I was so naive. I never caught on in the film that there was anything between the two of them. And people would tell me that. And I go, really? They go, yeah. And then I watched the film and I went, well, yeah, I can see it now, you know. But see, back in the 60s, even though Natsuki and I were involved, interracial, you know, was not that well thought of. So I remember Natsuki and I talked about marriage. And one of the reasons we didn't, because that would have affected his career if he would have married outside of his race, you know. So it's just, you know, times have changed. Thank God for the better. But so I think that's why nothing ever came of the romance in the film, because they hinted at it, but they wouldn't say anything definite, you know, because of cultures.
I see. Yeah, times change, but like you said, for the better.
Yes.
Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
Good to see you. What you miss? A lot. But
We talked about kaiju, conventions, and Jesus. There,
Yes.
you're all caught up.
you're all caught up. Yes. Trust in the Lord. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we are getting close to the end of our stream here, so I again want my guest co-hosts to get in at least one more either discussion point, shout out, or thank you, or question to throw out there. So Everett, if you've got anything, take it from there, and then Kim, and then we'll start doing our close-ups here.
Okay.
Well, I just want to say again, just thank you for having me on, Nick, and just getting the chance to talk with you, Linda, about everything has just been a blast, and just hearing the stories and everything from your faith journey to on-set stories. And this has just been definitely a highlight stream for me. So I just want to say thank you again, all. Again, meeting you two as well, Kim. And just seeing the journey of Kaiju Brooklyn and seeing all that grow and everything has been awesome. And just glad to have a awesome Kaiju friend circle for sure. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Ditto.
Makes me think of that movie with Patrick Swayze. Oh, Ghost. When she said
Ghost.
ditto.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Every time someone says ditto, my mind goes back there. Well, I will just say real briefly, I don't know if it's my turn or not. It's been a real pleasure meeting the two of you and seeing you again, Kim, and having the opportunity to just speak freely about things in life that matter to us and the Lord and Kaiju and, all the fans and everything. So thank you for the opportunity and the invitation to come on tonight.
Yeah, it has been such a pleasure to have all of you on, but especially, Linda, sharing your stories, sharing your faith journey, and encouraging those out there with the journey that God has taken you through to lead him back to his son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. And I think that's just a wonderful story to tell. And people of all generations, all backgrounds can hear these stories and all be, have their heartstrings tugged a little by God and expect to have a journey themselves to bring them closer to Christ. And I think that's a wonderful message that you have lived out. And I think that's another thing that when people meet you, they find themselves drawn to you and for a particular reason. And then they hear that it's because you have a relationship with God through his son, that it's like there was something different about you. And I thought that people have said, I thought you had more of a spiritual background. And that's where, even Walter, we may have met you a couple of times and then didn't know that. And now it's really showing through. And especially, as you said, that certain events, you talked about the death of Charlie Kirk, even, that impacted me too. Never met.
Wow.
And it was one of those things that even for someone that I had never met, impacted me and so many people that when you hear about these things, whether you agreed with him or not, it's still such a tragedy to think of that. But I also think of what good can come from even such a disaster like that God will still be glorified.
Yeah, he says you can take what the enemy meant for evil and turn it to good. And when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there were a couple of areas in my life that were not right on. And boy, I sobered up real fast. And I had to come to Jesus, talk to myself. And I straightened those areas up. I surrendered them. And I it made all the difference, And unfortunately it took that to have that effect on me, but thank God it had that effect on me,
Yeah. Well, thank you again for all of your time. You've all been very generous, and thank you for putting up with my internet access and speed and all of that. And that's why, again, I love having great co-hosts guest co-hosts to help me out throughout this. They've got the gift, and they're all wonderful. So I'm going to let them go around the room and then end up with you, Linda, on shout outs and where people can follow you.
Okay.
So take it away, Everett, and then Kim, then Linda.
Well, you can find me at Godzilla Fan Freaks. I have a YouTube channel and been doing it for a little over 10 years. And then as well as Instagram and Facebook, Godzilla Fan Freaks on there as well. You'll see stuff there that you won't see on the channel. As far as things coming up, I don't have a lot right now. My last video was kind of like my whole collection video that I do every year, where I just kind of showcase everything. But nothing new coming up as of yet. But hopefully maybe be ordering some stuff, in the coming months and be pumping out reviews and everything like that. So always appreciate the support and everything on there. I definitely want to get back to my Kaiju Chill O'Clock live streams that I would do and talk about things. And and hopefully the Tucson Kaiju Festival can come back around and I can get that up and running one of these days for sure.
Yeah, man.
Alrighty, I guess it's my turn. I have 2 YouTube channels, actually. There's one that's Kaiju Kim, where I create wholesome and delightfully stupid related to Godzilla and his fellow kaiju. Mostly short form content, but I'm hoping to get back into long form content and maybe even live streaming again eventually. We'll see. And I also have my YouTube channel, Nuclear Lizard Media, which is where I share a little bit more about my faith and my career. And I'm also on Instagram and Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm still calling it Twitter. That's me.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. You can find me on Facebook. It's Linda Miller, King Kong Escapes. I try to post, stuff that's coming up, events that I'm going to be in. And I'm also on Instagram, but I'm not very good at it. So if you send me a message, I might not know how to answer it, but I'll try. And let's see what else. I thought of something else that went right out of my head. Anyway, so that's where you can find me, on those two platforms.
And if they're interested in booking you, would they message you through Facebook?
Yes, send me a message through Facebook, and I'm in the process of a person is making a website so that I can sell some of my my photos or my paraphernalia or whatever for people that aren't able to come to conventions. I've had several people contact me who are in wheelchairs and they're not mobile. So I've sent them stuff at no cost, but I'm going to have a website. I'm working on it so that you can see what all stuff I have to offer, and hopefully you want it. That's the goal, is that you want it.
Awesome. Okay, and we're going to close up here. Stick around, all of my co-hosts here and guests here after the stream so we can say our proper goodbyes off the air. But for all of you out there who have listened and commented, liked, subscribed, all of those great things here, we appreciate you, especially you, Nathaniel Plummer. Love all your Kaiju content out there. You're here on the Monster Report live on the Monster Report YouTube channel. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on X, monsterreport.com with 1 R. And subscribe here because we are so close to that silver plaque, 100,000 subscribers. It has been a little bit over 10 years here on YouTube, and I'm just so grateful for all the love and attention, and it's all because of you guys that's possible. My family and I are very blessed by having this platform to share with you all collector videos, reviews, music reviews. I mean, just unboxings, all kinds of things. And of course, connecting with other Kaiju content creators, which I love to do. I've done a lot of work with Everett, of course, on thumbnails, working with Kim on an upcoming project. It is TBA, so you all stay tuned because there's some great things going to be happening soon. And I'm just so grateful for the community that it's brought together of people and just like-minded individuals. It's just a wonderful thing. So for me, Nick Adam, this has been the Monster Report Live. And like, subscribe, all those great things. And we will catch you on another episode here in the near future. Thank you.